But we'll just have to see how it goes for Star Strikers.
Well, MarineKing's played 4 matches. He is undefeated against Terran, as I mentioned earlier, and he wants to take another win today. He played twice, actually, in their previous match. First of all, beating Sue with a float to the gold base on Habitation Station, then losing the final match in not the most exciting fashion. Definitely had some weak points in his play there.
Yeah, he played that one against Rain on Outboxer, and he went kind of to the north where there was that rock in the middle, so it actually allowed him to get force fielded a lot easier when he was going for that all-in with the SCV pull. So a little bit disappointing to watch that game, but he's going to be going up against Bunny, who's over here. He looks a bit nervous, taking a little deep breath to himself, thinking this over. So far, he's 1-1 in this season.
Yeah, 5-2 overall. He's not too bad as a Pro League player. Just somebody who's not flashy enough and not as consistent enough for CJ to want to field a lot of the time. That's why we don't usually see him too often here. The map they're going to be duking it out on is Polarnight, a 2-player map. Can be a very exciting map for Terran versus Terran. Sometimes quick timing attacks on this map. Sometimes we go super late game with that really easy to take 4th base. Only time will tell. Let's jump into our very first match here, the 2014 Pro League, Brendan and Wolf.
Up here in the north, in the purple colors for Prime, the Terran player. This is MarineKing.
Yeah, looking good today. And his opponent in the yellow for CJ Entis, it's Bunny. I've seen him play just a few times this season. Has an okay record, but just not very many games played.
No, we were making fun of his name because we actually used to have Bunny mugs. I actually lost mine yesterday. It went rogue. So I'm still on the Myunt for that, but I think you still have your mug.
You know, I didn't check for it today because I got a coffee. And when I get a coffee, I'll just continue to drink water out of my coffee cup. Which is, I think some people find that weird, but there's like a little bit of coffee residue. It makes my water have like a slight coffee taste to it.
It's like bland coffee water. You know, I've actually never done that, I don't think.
For some reason, when I was at the old GOM studio, and I didn't have any mugs at all, and I just needed hot water, I would just start doing that every now and then my coffee cup, because I'm like, oh, I really need water really badly suddenly, and I just got used to it. So I don't think I wouldn't recommend it, but it's something I've myself become accustomed to. So yeah. Bunny's going to go gas first here. We don't really see Terran versus Terran very often in Korea, especially not in Pro League. But in the GSL, for example, it's basically been all but eliminated because we have very few Terrans in the Codes, even in the round of 32, then going into the round of 16. So it's been a pretty lackluster set of period of life. Basically, what I'm trying to say is we've had a lack of Terrans. Not lackluster Terrans, but just a lack of Terrans.
Yeah, in fact, quite the opposite. I mean, the Terrans that we do have, especially in Pro League, are some of the best players that we do have. I mean, some of them are in the top 2. They're at the top of the winners ranking, at least. And they always show a ton of really awesome games, so it's really fun to watch them. Seems like we're going to have a pause here.
Yeah, indeed, we are going to have a pause. And not certain what the reason is. MarineKing is the initiator of the pause. So I have to wait and see. I've been told there are some problems with the stream right now. I'm going to try to see if I can not solve them, but identify them and get them solved with production.
Yep, you go do that. MarineKing, he dropped that CC first, so he's going to be going for a more economic build here. Rushing out that CC first is really the best way to get as many mules as possible, as many SCVs as possible, as early on in the game. And of course, he's probably going to drop those 2 barracks right after just to be safe. Probably drop a bunker. Play it real safe back there. Basically the very opposite of what Bunny is doing in this game so far.
Yeah, so I mean, when these 2 builds actually line up against each other, it can be pretty scary for the player who is going Command Center first. But at the same time, the gas first player needs to do a lot of damage, because if he fails to do so, or he messes up his control and loses his Banshees, for example, depending on what build he's going for, then the player who went CC first gets way ahead in economy because their economy starts to explode and they can catch up. So looks like whatever the problem is has been resolved, and they're going to do a countdown in the chat. That's what they're seeing. My monitor's back. It's grown in size quite largely.
Yes.
So everything seems to be good. Doing the countdown, and we're going to go ahead and resume the game.
Yeah. And like you said before about the gas player first, or the gas first player rather, he's going to want to do a lot of damage here. And looking at the players we have in this game, just MarineKing against Bunny. MarineKing just known to be so good at micro. He doesn't really make that many mistakes. And I really kind of fear for Bunny's position because he's going for this build that's probably going to want to try to do a lot of damage. But I just don't see it doing much against MarineKing, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm curious because this map is good for timing attacks, but the harassment potential is, I mean, there's a lot of dead space, for example, behind the main base, and there's also some space behind the natural. You can fly around with Banshees, for example, and drop ships to hide against ground armies, but we'll see what he wants to commit to, because first of all, he's getting a Reaper, so he's going to come over here and scout a little bit with that. He's going to find out what sort of build MarineKing has chosen, and then after that, he'll be able to decide exactly how he wants to follow up, whether that's going to be a drop with a medevac to get some Hellions into the main base, whether he wants to commit to Banshees. Whatever he wants to do, he's going to make a choice after he scouts here.
Yeah, he's basically at MarineKing's base now, so he's going to get this information right away. Seems like he's entering a tech lab, probably on that Varus to switch with that starport. Maybe go into some Banshees. He's actually trying to fight with these Marines first to try to weaken them, which is really good if you're going to come in and fly with Banshees, because you'll definitely have to do less damage to those Marines, whereas your Reaper can actually regen.
Yeah, that's true. So I've been told there's just a little problem with our system, so things are going to be a little bit delayed on the stream, but I think that they're still going to go through. So if you're having any problems, just like kind of wait a little bit longer and keep refreshing the stream. Things should eventually go back to normal. But the Banshee here that he's making is going to be committed to Cloak. Exactly as you mentioned, the Reaper can kind of harass against those Marines, pick off some of the hit points, then go and regen. And you know, if MarineKing actually defends this well, I like his position a lot. It just depends on how well he can actually defend the Banshees. He doesn't have any Vikings out just yet. His starport hasn't even been started. His eBay timing, though, works out quite nicely for him. And a scan reveals everything. Great scan here.
That is basically perfect. You see the middle of the scan goes right down on that starport. A little bit unfortunate here for Bunny. He even sees the Banshee pop out, this MarineKing. So he's going to know exactly what's coming down over here. His engineering bay is about to finish. He's going to put up a bunch of turrets for that Cloak. And he should be pretty good. Starts them immediately.
So let's see how much damage he can get done here, because turrets are being made right now. But against unstimmed Marines, you can usually just kite the Banshee away from the Marines. He's going to actually maybe delay this turret. Does delay it just slightly. Gets 2 SCV kills. And now can just kite those Marines. Without stim, it's so difficult. And even with cloaking here, it becomes a bigger problem as he goes out of range of that turret.
Yeah, very nice micro here out of Bunny so far. Gets, I think, 3 SCVs so far. And now he's going to get a 4th one here. So some decent damage done so far. Like you said, these Marines do not have stim, so it's very hard for MarineKing to do good micro on his side as well.
Yeah, but so far he hasn't really panicked or made too many control mistakes. But the second Banshee is coming. Man, this is going to be a big problem. The Viking is pretty far away. I mean, it's almost completed, but even after it's completed, he's going to have to, you know, split it up. Nice scan here, though. I was a bit sloppy there by Bunny. Let's see how much damage he can get done to the natural, though. Looks like he's going to get 1 SCV here, probably 2 on that depot SCV. And he's actually now taking a lead in Harvesters while his command center is finished. He's got a 3rd CC going up. You know, and he's going into a mech composition. He's not made any more Marines. He's adding the Raven now. He's adding siege tanks. So tech-wise, he's not in a too bad shape either.
Yeah, he's not in a bad shape either. It looks like Bunny as well is probably going to go for some mech.
Yeah, that's what I mean to say Bunny going mech, not MarineKing.
Okay.
I'm like, I was just like spacing out because of the technical problems we had earlier. But yeah, I'm getting the names mixed up. But yeah, MarineKing is going bio. Or at least Marine Tank, and Bunny is the one who's going into mech because he's adding Raven, the siege tank. This Banshee over here is trying to get a little bit more damage done. He's trying to force a scan, maybe.
Yeah, 3rd Banshee over here does get 3 kills. He's going to back away from this and survive. So far, 9 of these SCVs do go down.
Yeah, and it looks like you got 4 Marines too, so that's not so bad. You know, any damage you can do to the Marine tank bio, you know, the Marine part of the Marine tank, it's going to be good for him. Double armories going up at home, as well as that eBay to shut down drop play, and you know, also for detection, but mostly just to shut down drop play. Be a bit strange, MarineKing switching to cloak now.
Yeah. And looking at this game after a bunch of that harass and after Bunny getting those 2 extra CCs, I feel like the ball is really in MarineKing's court to do some damage now. Bunny's just sitting back. He's making tanks. He has the 2 armories up, getting the upgrades up. He has 3 CCs, like I mentioned. And he has more harvesters as well. So he's in a really good spot economically as well as tech-wise. So I really feel like MarineKing has to do some damage here in order to get back on the same level as Bunny.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty solid defense against this drop. The turret finishes here, and there's a Viking. If he tries to boost in, it's going to be a mistake. And luckily for him, he does save everything. Nice drops there on the Marines to make sure that the Viking doesn't continue to chase. And good reaction time there by MarineKing, but Bunny was ready. And now he's got 3 CCs, he's up 10 harvesters, and his composition that he's building is pretty good. You know, most people would argue that in a straight-up fight, mech is always going to be the better composition, so MarineKing now has to avoid fighting straight up. He needs to try to abuse the fact that mech is slow, abuse the fact that he has a larger army that he can split into multiple locations, and try to deny his opponent's third base. He has to use his mobility against Bunny's immobility.
Yeah. I like the fact, actually, that Bunny has not put that 3rd CC down to the 3rd base just yet. He's waiting until he gets a higher tank count, waiting until he gets more of that huge mech army so they can spread it out a little bit more in order to defend better against the very mobile bio army that MarineKing is going to be throwing at him.
MarineKing's got the better air control right now as well, so that's going to give him a bit of an advantage with vision. He's actually just going to stim and run in here. There's only 2 siege tanks. He starts up his own tanks. Repair here is late on the siege tank. He's actually just going to fight with his SCVs, and that's not going to work out too well. The Hellbat's trying to close the gap, but there's way too many siege tanks, and MarineKing may actually just end this game right now. He had the better air control, but he just actually went in via ground and tried to bully his way through, and now he's forced to lift here. And the Hellbat's going to try to drop here on top of the Marines, but they're targeted down. Siege Tank's still doing so much damage.
And the SCV's trying to fight here, and they're just going to have to back off eventually. There's only 1 tank left. He's going to try to repair it. He gets it for now. It's still alive. How is it still alive?
It's barely going down here. The Hellbats, though, trying to chase this army back. The Vikings will push this back, so Bunny does survive for now, but he's taken so many hits, and the command center is very, very low right now. He should be able to save that with a quick repair here, but he's lost so much mining time, and well, MarineKing could just regroup, kind of lick his wounds here, and set up for another engagement. This command center being landed here without a repair is a bit risky. He definitely needs to consider sending some SCVs over there for that. Otherwise, he's just going to get focused down here. And MarineKing's taking his own 3rd. He's even taking it quickly here without even making an orbital just yet. And he's targeting that command center down. Nice lift here. That was really, really important.
Yeah, gets a repair as well, so it's no longer burning. He's going to want to drop that as soon as possible. MarineKing, after that attack, he did just so much damage with his Marines. You can say, you know, this is the MarineKing. He is prone to doing such stuff like that. And he's on 3 base now against Bunny, who's just now struggling to get his 2nd base back up and running. And he's in a really good position now.
Yeah. I mean, Bunny still has, you know, 3 CCs, but that advantage that he had earlier of having the 3 Cs up much faster has now been kind of pushed away. MarineKing doing what he does best, doing a huge drop in the main base here, starting taking a lot of those harvesters, and this is a mostly Marauder drop, so Hellbats aren't going to be the best here at defense.
Yeah, they're not going to be at all. Even a tank was dropped in there, and it's in siege mode right now. I think it did get taken out, but look at all these Hellbats trying to fight this mainly Marauder army. They're not doing so well. They're eventually going to clean it up here, but so much damage already. MarineKing just furthering his lead here.
And now he's just going to come and hit at the natural again with a very small force. Unfortunately, those 2 siege tanks ready and set up for him. MarineKing's actually started a 4th CC right now. He's starting his +2 attack. He's getting his armor up. He's continuing to produce Marauders right now. And he's just trying to spend all of his resources here. A little bit lacking on the gas, but he's adding an additional refinery right now. And MarineKing kind of, I would say, in a way, almost overcommitted there with those Marauders in the main base. But he's regrouped now, and since he's kept his opponent on 2 bases for the longest period of time, he's just getting more and more economy out of this.
Yeah, he's going to have those gases for way longer than Bunny is, and he's just going to be in a really good position here. He's going to have the 4th CC up as well. Seems like Bunny is trying to send his 2 Banshees over here to try to get some harass done while he takes his 3rd base. I like the idea, but if MarineKing's on top of it, it's not going to do much damage.
Yeah. Actually, interestingly enough, Bunny has stopped SCV production, and it looks like it's just in order to make sure he's spending all of his money on the army right now. He's going to kill a lot of the SCVs over here of MarineKing right now, in fact. It was a bit of a late reaction there, and he's still not dealt with. I think those two SCVs right there might go down, possibly. Just going to find whatever he can and kill it. Looks like reinforcements will eventually clean this up, but MarineKing taking some losses here. And Bunny has started reproduction of SCVs back at home.
Yeah, those Hellbats do finally go down. Wonder where the Banshees were there at the same time. Seems like he wants to move out with even more drops. I like the Hellbat drops while he's taking his third base. He wants to put the focus on MarineKing's base rather than his own.
Yeah. I mean, MarineKing, can he really attack into this? This is a bit risky to actually commit here. There's so many siege tanks set up for the defense. I think he should probably just attack the natural first, perhaps. Meanwhile, he's still stuck at home defending these drops. Bunny is relentless with these, but he's starting to lose a lot of units as a result, and he's not doing as much damage as he would like. The MarineKing economy has exploded, putting up 40 supply right now.
Yeah, I feel like Bunny's just on the map. He's just trying to do whatever he possibly can here. He knows he's way behind, and he's trying to just get any little advantage that he can at all.
Oh, he's trying to break through here, and there's so many siege tanks up for the defense. I think this might actually end up being a mistake. This might be what gets Bunny back into this game. He eliminates most of MarineKing's army just by sitting there. Now with reinforcements coming down from the natural and a drop with Hellbats on top of this army, Bunny's going to take an army supply lead here. I think this was a bit of a mistake by MarineKing to commit this much, and back at home he's losing so many harvesters to these Hellbats.
Oh boy. Now these Marauders are finally going to come in here and clean them up. But look at that one Hellbat, 8 kills. The other one probably at a similar amount. He's taken a 4th base here, which is something that he does have going for him. But he lost, like you said, most of his army. And if you let this mech army start to build up and up, you're going to be in trouble later on.
MarineKing's face, he looks defeated right now. He's now down 14 harvesters. That might have actually been a game-losing attack there for him, because now the mech army is so strong that it's hard for him to get a snowball effect with his bio ever again for the rest of the game. More harvesters going down now. Actually decides to try to drop on those once more. Unfortunately, too much bio there. But I mean, let's talk about this. I mean, he's still exposed over here at this base, for example, and loses a mule, loses another harvester, maybe even more here. 2 more go down, and now the drop can just go and harass another location. That's one of those game sense things where I feel like MarineKing just thought he had enough to go in with the flank, but he certainly did not. Yeah. And he's just like, I mean, he's almost beating himself up in the booth right now. Every time I look at him, he looks like he's already typed GG. He's losing more and more harvesters here, now being dropped at 2 locations at once.
Oh man, Bunny is just relentless with these drops. These just does not stop. He comes in and out and in and out in every different direction. And like you said, you can see it on MarineKing's face. He looks depressed right now. He goes up to 67 harvesters lost. Was just at 55 about 30 seconds ago.
This is pretty nasty for MarineKing. This is one of those games too where for most of the game you're ahead and you know that, and you make a mistake like this in TVT and it can cost you so much. His composition is exactly what he wants against mech. He has almost a pure Marauder army. Going to be dropped here again. Even the splash damage from the siege tanks defending are helping him kill SCVs. Yeah. But I mean, it's just the composition MarineKing has built is strong, but it's not as strong as it could be because he threw away so many units earlier on.
Yeah, I liked his first attack that he went for earlier on that forced the natural there to lift for Bunny, but then after that, I guess he just had too much confidence. He was coming in there, he looked at the army of Bunny, he's like, oh yeah, I can take this. But it actually just turned out to be too much, and he lost way too much.
I really like MarineKing putting that Marauder over there behind that ice, so he's going to be able to see if Bunny's trying to take that as a 4th base, because it's really hard for him to actually scout that otherwise, just keeping 1 unit over there. He also scans the other possible 4th base location. You guys can see that on the minimap right now. So he knows that Bunny is still on 3 bases, and he's mining from a 4th right now, so that's one thing he does have going for him. But I don't think Bunny is too concerned. MarineKing's scanning this, and he's like, oh my god, that's like so many siege tanks. MarineKing has basically checked every possible 4th base location. I think what he's banking on here is that he can take a defensive engagement when the tanks are unsieged of his opponent while he's trying to move across the map. He's even going to go for a counterattack here, but no, he's spotted.
Yeah, you look at that army of MarineKings, and Bunny basically has nearly as many tanks as MarineKing has Marauders in that army. He has a lot of his army back here at home, just trying to recuperate from all those drops, and now Bunny's on the chase. He's like, oh, I can take this easily here.
Oh, there's just so many Hellbats here as well. And the thing is, like, if you think about Hellbats, well, Marauders are armored units. They don't take the bonus damage, but with all that AoE and all the hit points on the Hellbats, it's pretty tough. MarineKing goes for a huge drop here. And you know what? He gets a few of the siege tanks, but with all those turrets there, I don't think this is cost efficient for him. And it's really easy for Bunny to just replace those. And he's even going to go for an attack now, realizing he has some timing now unlocked here. There are 29 Hellbats in this army, and they are going to drop right on top of those Marauders to tank the fire. The siege tanks are going to siege up here. I cannot see MarineKing winning this fight. No way, no how. This is a slaughter right now.
Oh my god, the AoE of all of those Hellbats that were just dropped onto the army of MarineKing, even though, like you said, a lot of them being Marauders, still so much AoE, and he has the tanks in the back, and he's just going to go for the kill here. He's going right for the throat, sieging up the siege tanks at the bottom of the ramp. Going to start sieging at that third base as well.
Yeah, even killing some of those harvesters over there at that third base with his Hellbats. Again, MarineKing tries to come in here. He finds a sweet spot. And this time the tanks are on siege, and the Hellbat drop is a little bit late. Can he actually turn the tide here? I don't think so. Those Hellbats are too heavily upgraded. There's way too many units here. The last of those medevacs will fall, and I think the chances of MarineKing taking this game will fall with them. Bunny now killing the last of the SCVs at the third base. This base is forfeit. All he has to do is send a few units over there, and that's going to be the end of that. And most likely will be the end of this game, as now his main ramp will be sieged. There's no way for him to get units out of his main base, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will end this game.
That's going to be it. Such an awesome strategy out of Bunny, making just so many Hellbats and just speeding in there, boosting with the medevacs, dropping on the huge bio army of MarineKing. Just not enough for MarineKing here. Like you said, this is definitely going to be GG. MarineKing just trying to hold on, trying to drop it, whatever he can. But Bunny, like I said, he's going for the throat.
Yeah, he's going for the throat here, dropping on top of the rest of these reinforcements. And this base is sieged. Meanwhile, MarineKing, yeah, he forced a lift on the fourth base, but there's enough units at home to actually defend the counterattack. Mule's being dropped here as well, telling him to get out. GG. Bunny claps his hands together in victory. He knows that was a well-won victory. That was a tough mid-game for him. He was definitely behind, but with solid defensive play and mech versus bio, he's able to turn it around.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Bunny, very, very solid play here, but like you mentioned before, that attack on MarineKing definitely put him behind, and then once Bunny he got that leg up, and from there he's like, okay, I'm going to take control of this right now. He put so much hurt onto MarineKing's harvesters, so many Hellbat drops all over the place in the main, in the natural, the third, even the fourth later on. He just lost so many SCVs. He was up to nearly 85 worker kills near the end there.
So I just wanted to clarify for everybody. Oh, hold that thought. MarineKing is a crushed human right now. That was a tough loss to take. That was just, you know, one critical mistake you make that can cost you your lead. And when you're playing against somebody whose macro is so good and it's just a composition that is based on defending